Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome back to Nerd News Today. And you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It's Vader time! I can only do it like on one hand, apparently. I can't do it on the other hand. This is as close as it gets. Today, from Mattel's WWE Elite Legends line, we are looking at Vader, Leon White, the big man who I've been a big fan of for a long time. Sadly, I never got to meet Leon before he passed away, but I've always been such a huge mark for anything that's Vader, and anytime there's a Vader action figure of any kind, I have to get it. So as part of Target's ongoing Legends line, we've now gotten a new version of Vader, and it's been quite some years since we've seen Vader. I don't remember when the last release was, but I want to say it was at least a minimum of like 6 years ago, and probably more than that. Now when it comes to Vader, there's only so much you can do with him too, because his outfits were fairly limited. But with this figure, they've definitely filled a gap for a pretty significant point in Vader's history. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this figure. And I gotta mention again that this is a Target exclusive, so you will not find him on Amazon, you will not find him on Ringside Collectibles, you can only find him through Target's website. That said, if you're looking for any other wrestling figures, I recommend you guys check out Big Bad Toy Store. To my surprise, I recently found out that they actually have a pretty good selection of current Mattel WWE figures, including Ultimate Editions, and I feel like people are really passing them over. So if you're in a pinch, you're looking for some Ultimate Editions at a normal price, and a lot of other Elite figures as well, go ahead and check out BBTS. We'll have links below in the description of this video. But as for this Vader, let's talk about this packaging real quick, because it is basically the same as every other Legend-style package that we've seen. And to be fair, I've always loved that look. Like, this is how they looked when the series first began, when those Legends first launched, way back when. And I think it's great. I love the illustrations of the wrestlers in the front. I think the colors are really great. It has this kind of vintage vibe to it. All around, it's just perfection. It's one of my favorite toy packaging designs of all time from Mattel. We have a huge window display in the front, so you can see all the different things this figure comes with, and they have packed a lot with this version of Vader. On one side, you also get this great illustration, again, it's the same illustration we've seen, of Vader, which, again, just a larger version of his head. And on the back, we get that same illustration along with a very good bio. And as you guys know, that's one of the things I've always complained about with wrestling figures in particular, is how they kind of skimp out on the bios. But this time around, we have got a big, lengthy bit of information here, all about, essentially, part of when this costume is from, as well as a little bit about what he did during that time period in his early WCW days. Now we also get a look at the 3 other figures that are part of this line. Now chances are, if you've been shopping at Target, you know that Vader has been the hot one, and Cena's been out there as well, but you probably haven't seen Beefcake, you probably haven't seen DDP. Well, the reason for that is because essentially those were pre-order only on Target, and those kind of sold out real quickly. And word on the street is that they're actually not going to be in store. They're going to be online only. Don't take my word for it. I remember seeing something on Bill McKenna's Instagram or Twitter or something where he talked about those figures. Basically, there was some kind of a screw up where we're only getting 2 figures this wave that are out at this moment, and the other 2, which is DDP and Beefcake, will be out at a later date. So just keep your eyes peeled on social media, and that's going to be your best way to find out when all of the figures in the set will be out. With that said, I don't want to waste any more time talking about this, so let's go ahead and get Vader out of the box and into the ring. And here is our Vader now out of the package. Let's take a better look at him, because man, there is so much to talk about here. So as we mentioned, you know, this is meant to be him when he first showed up in WCW, which would be the Great American Bash 1990, where he squashed Tom Zenk, and that's a guy who hasn't had an action figure in a long time. So he squashed Tom Zenk, and that was basically the beginning of his big run in WCW, which included some matches with Sting, Cactus Jack, some other notable things. But what's really also interesting about this outfit is that this is what he wore in 1989 when he defeated Shinya Hashimoto to win the IWGP Championship. Now Vader has a big history in Japan. We could do a whole other video just purely about his time in Japan before WCW, before WWF. But that's, again, going to be for a whole other day if we ever did that. But it is really cool that they're basically acknowledging that, and this is kind of like your way to get those 2 time periods in one shot. Because both versions of Vader previously to this were what we probably know him best, which is basically the all-black singlet with the red triangle and then the red stripe down each of his legs. So this is kind of cool because there's not many unique looks you can go for him. And none of them with much historical relevance to them either, or any significance, really, besides this particular outfit. So up front, you know, I actually own one of the other Vaders they made before this, and it's basically the exact same body. And, you know, the one thing we could kind of like nitpick about if you want to up front is that the strap here, it should actually probably be way lower. You know, like you guys can see, it's basically covering around his chest here. But if you actually look at a video of him, like usually this would go a little bit further down, like you'd see some belly exposed. They don't do that here. It would look kind of funny if they actually did that. It wouldn't look too good. So it's not a big deal to me that they did that. It's just for anybody out there who really wants to nitpick, you know, be aware of that. Every Vader is going to be pretty much identical and not have that all the way exposed stomach popping out of his singlet. So let's talk about likeness first, and really there's actually 2 heads here. So, you know, obviously this mask here, it's accurate for the most part, and it looks pretty nice, but it tells us nothing about the likeness. It's really the alternate head sculpt here that concerns me the most, and this is really great head sculpt. I love how this looks. It's got a great expression on his face. The hair is perfect also. The hair, they nailed that completely. Really great paint job also on that beard. Eyes are looking good. This is a top quality head sculpt. I see no problems here whatsoever. Even the way the brow is furrowed, that's just really great looking. And I'm actually going to pop out this head right now just to see how we can do it, and because I want to put that other head on. Just show you guys how that looks. So here we go, we'll pop that off, and in that goes, and there you go. That is Vader with his maskless head sculpt, and that's looking nice. I love that here. But that's not all, because Vader also has his removable mask, the mask he would wear a little bit later on in his time in WCW. We got that right here. So I think the best way to actually get this on would be to take the head off and slide it on that way. So I've got it pulled underneath his chin here, and now I'm just kind of gently wiggling it because this is the first time doing it, so it's going to probably be a little bit more difficult, and the mask will most certainly loosen up the more times that you do this. But it's going on. Not too bad. It's getting a little stuck on his ears, but we can go around that pretty easily. There we go. Almost got it, and that's it. Now all it's left to do is just put it back on. Let's see how it looks. And there is our Vader with his mask on. And that's not too bad. It's not my favorite look, to be honest. I think the other Vader that I have, it doesn't actually have a removable mask. I think it's a separate head, perhaps, and one's like sculpted on. I think it's cool that the mask is like this. It looks a little, I don't know. It doesn't look bad. It just looks a little bit funny to me, I guess. But not the worst thing. I'm not hating it either. I definitely like the option to have that mask come off, though. That part's really cool. Let's take a close look at this outfit also, so you guys can see. This is the version with all of the red lightning bolts across him, which is, again, that's meant to be like his WCW and very early WCW appearance. And, you know, I'm not going to look at Thunderbolt for Thunderbolt and making sure it's got every single one there. It looks good enough for me, and I'm happy with that. I'm not going to nitpick over it whatsoever. Is it my favorite Vader outfit? Nah, but it's definitely a good look to have. And again, as we mentioned, I mean, how many other looks are there for Vader that are different? So this is probably the most different one that has the most importance to it. So in addition to that additional head sculpt, in addition to that removable mask, we also have a bunch of hands here. And one of those hands you can see right now, it's the Vader Time hand, or also the Live Long and Prosper hand. And we have one of those for each hand, so you can do them right there. And now you know what time it is, because it's always going to be Vader time. But in addition to those, he also comes with open hands that you could use. I'm going to pop out one right now just to show you how those look. And also, so you guys know, this little bit here for the gloves, that does come out. It's always been like that. It's actually one of the reasons I haven't really bought a lot of Undertaker figures or other characters who have like MMA gloves, because I just don't like that, I guess. Just a weird preference I have. But here's one of those open hands. Just going to put one on. And there you go. So you guys basically know what those hands look like. So, and here is that other hand too. So you can see that, yeah, there are enough hands. So you get 4 hands total. So in addition to that, last but not least, I think probably the most important accessory is this big boy right here. This is the Mastodon helmet. This is why everybody wants to get a Vader figure, because this thing is awesome. And as usual, yeah, this is a pretty great one. So my question is, will it fit on this Vader right now with that removable mask on? And all right, well, I guess I answered that question, and doesn't look too bad, actually. I mean, I think it's definitely not meant to be with him wearing this mask, because as you can see here, we're not really going all the way down. It's kind of actually covering up a little bit. So I think with the mask off, it'll definitely fit better. But even with that red mask on, it still fits like 95% of the way there. So that's pretty close to me. That's good enough for me. But that's how that looks. And this Mastodon helmet is like one of the coolest accessories ever. It's up there with like the Legion of Doom shoulder pads. This thing is so awesome. I'm just going to put it back here. So let's do some comparisons to a few other figures as well, just so you guys can match it up. And here I've got a Ultimate Edition Macho Man Randy Savage figure. So let's just put him over here, size him up. And I've also got from Jazzwares from AEW, I've got myself a Kenny Omega figure. So this is how Big Van Vader will look next to these guys. And he is definitely a little bit bigger than both of them, which is good to know. So he is sized pretty accurately. And in fact, even more so, I'm going to take Macho Man out. Let's bring in Darby Allin, who is a considerably smaller figure. So you can really see the size difference there between these guys. So yeah, Vader is enormous, and he should always be enormous. So that's a perfect fit. I'm happy about that. It's looking good. So let's talk articulation as well, because we kind of glossed over that. And you know, with a character like Vader, I don't expect him to do much, but you know, he's got all the points that a Mattel figure have. And even with the mask, he still have that full rotation of the head. You've got ball-jointed shoulders, bicep swivel, single-jointed elbow. The wrists can bend and flex. Torso can go up and down like that. The waist moves. We've got the nice flexibility there in the leg area. We've got the thigh swivel as well. Now he has the giant knee pads on, so you're not going to be able to necessarily get like super good articulation in the knees, at least not right away. The more you flex them and pose them, they'll probably loosen up. But you know, these are again the giant knee pads, and this is a giant character, so it's not like you really need them to be doing that much. The boots can turn, and the feet also swivel. So there you guys go. That pretty much covers it with Vader and his articulation. It's identical to every other Mattel figure out there, and that's fine for me. He doesn't need to have that much flexibility, really, as long as he can pull off a German suplex, which, based on how it looks here, I think, yeah, you can probably do like any of those backdrops or whatever you wanted. So, yeah, there you guys go. That is our look at Vader, the Target exclusive Legends version of Big Van Vader. There's a lot of reasons to get this figure, you know, especially if you're a Vader fan, especially if you're looking for some big monsters to put in your wrestling figure collection. For me, I'm a big WCW guy as well as a big Japanese guy, so this is great because it fills multiple voids in my collection. And it's definitely one of the better versions out there of Vader because, again, you've got all the different hands, you have the 2 different head sculpts, you got the removable mask, you got the masked on helmet. If you missed out on any other Vader figures, this is pretty much the best way to get them because those other Vaders are really expensive. And chances are we're not going to see another Vader for another 5 to 6 years minimum anyway. So he's absolutely worth hunting down. It's a great Vader. It's no wonder why this figure has been so hot among wrestling figure collectors the past month or so. And thankfully, he is starting to show up a lot more. So if you've been vigilant, if you've been checking out your Target's wrestling figure section quite often, you might start seeing Vaders pop up because, again, in this wave, it's only him and Cena right now. So as opposed to like trying to hunt down a chase figure or something else from a normal wave, the fact that these guys are equally packed in one box means your chances of finding him are pretty good. Really, the only thing that can make this figure better would be getting the IWGP Championship belt. And, well, hey, guess what, guys? Forbidden Figurines is making that IWGP Championship belt. And in fact, she already sent it out to subscribers last month. It's going to be out for mass release, I think, very soon also. So we'll have a link to that in the description as well once it does come out. I love those belts, and that's really what's going to make this thing look so good is giving him that Japanese Championship belt because that's just going to make this an awesome addition for the Japanese side of my wrestling figure collection. So that's our look at Vader. Again, if you want to find him, you're going to have to check out Target. That's the only way to get him. He's not available anywhere else as of right now. But hey, you never know. He might show up in ringside. Maybe one day he'll show up in the secondary market on Big Bad Toy Store. So just keep checking out those links, keep being vigilant, and you will eventually get yourself this figure. Don't pay scalper prices on eBay for him. Especially when he first got released, he was going for like 80 bucks. He is not worth it. You can find him a lot easier today. And how do I know that? Because I live in New York City and I've got myself 2 already. And don't worry, one of those is for a friend, not for scalping. So I'm Matthew. That's Big Van Vader from WWE's Legends line. He's a great figure. So excited to have him. And once you put him in your collection, you'll always know what time it is. I'm Matthew. We'll see you guys here next time on Nerd News Today.